Hello and welcome to my screencast that will show you how you can install Bareos on a Linux computer. In order to be able to install Bareos, you need a supported operating system and a running PostgreSQL database server on your machine. 4 simple installation steps are required. The first is to add the software repository that Bareos supports. Secondly, install the software. Third, you need to set up the catalog database. And finally, the Bareos services need to be started. Let's have a look at how this can be done on a Rocky Linux 8 machine. First, you go to the download server of Bareos, which is on download.bareos.org, and you go into the current subdirectory. Inside of that subdirectory, you have a folder for every operating system that we currently offer packages for. And as we are going to install Bareos on a Rocky Linux 8 machine, which is a Red Hat Enterprise Linux 8 derivative, you have to go into the subdirectory EL8. And inside of the subdirectory, you will find a script that is called add Bareos repositories, which will do most of the work that is required to add the Bareos repository to your machine. So we now copy the link to this script and go into our CLI of the machine. The first step that we will do is we need to download the script onto the machine. The next step is to execute the script with root rights. As you can see, the repository was successfully added. The next step is to install the software. This can be done by the usual operating system's package manager. In this case, we use DNF. You need to install the package Bareos, which will in itself then pull in every required package to have a fully running Bareos server. We also add the parameter -y, which will assume yes to every question so that we are not asked questions intermediately. If everything works right, then the installation is quickly done and the installation already is complete. The next step is to set up the catalog database in order for the Bareos daemon to be able to access it and to find the right schema. This is done as the PostgreSQL user, so we need to call. All scripts that are required to set up the database are located below the subdirectory usr lib bareos scripts. And there the first script that we need to call is called create Bareos database. This script will create a database named Bareos. The next step is to add the required database tables to this freshly created database, which is done by the script make Bareos tables. The final script that needs then still to be run is the one that will set the correct access rights to the tables and the database, which is called grant Bareos privileges. After calling these 3 scripts, the database is ready to use for Bareos. The next step is to start the Bareos daemons on the machine and enable them to automatically be started after reboot. This is done with systemctl enable with --now, which will make it the services also be started immediately. The bareos-SD is the bareos storage daemon. Bareos-FD is the bareos file daemon service. And bareos-dir is the bareos director service. All these three services together make up a running bareos server instance. The start of all daemons now has been done, and to verify that we are able to use the system, we can now start the bconsole binary, which can connect to the director. As this works, we are ready with the installation. Let's have a review on the installation that we just did. The first step was to add the bareos software repository. Therefore, we downloaded the add bareos repository script and executed it with root rights. After the bareos repositories were added to the system, we simply installed the package bareos. Now, the database needs to be prepared to be used with bareos. Therefore, we created a bareos database, created the bareos tables, and granted the right privileges on those tables in order to be able to use the database with bareos. This was done by calling the three scripts. Now, the daemons that make up the bareos server were started. Thank you very much for listening to my presentation. If you want to know more about bareos, you can go to the documentation site docs-bareos.org. The installation chapter will contain all the information that you just heard and more details. You can go to the bareos users mailing list and ask questions if something still is unclear. If you want to check out the source code of bareos, you can find it on github.com/bareos. Also, we offer subscription, support and consulting via our website bareos.com. And here's my email address that you also can use to contact me. Thank you very much and have a nice day. Goodbye.